They thought they had their man, a dangerous criminal on the run. But within 30 minutes, the FBI would storm through their doors and expose the shocking truth. They had just cuffed an innocent black veteran who had spent his life serving his country. Imagine dedicating your life to protecting your country, earning medals for bravery, and being a role model in your community, only to find yourself shoved into the back of a police car for a crime you didn't commit. This is the unbelievable true story of Marcus Brown, a decorated black veteran whose quiet morning turned into a nightmare, and how, just 30 minutes later, the FBI would burst in to set the record straight. The morning sun was barely breaking through the clouds when Marcus Brown, a decorated black Army veteran, stepped out of his modest home. Dressed in jeans, a leather jacket, and his signature veteran's cap, he had no idea the day ahead would turn into a nightmare that would test every ounce of his patience and dignity. Marcus had served 2 tours overseas, earning medals and commendations for bravery under fire. Back home, he dedicated his life to helping struggling veterans find housing and jobs. Everyone in his neighborhood knew him as a man of honor. But to the police officers who rolled up in 2 cruisers that morning, he was someone else entirely. "Marcus Brown?" one of the officers barked as they stepped out, hands resting on their holsters. Marcus nodded, confused. Before he could ask why, the other officer grabbed his arm, twisting it behind his back. Cold steel handcuffs clicked shut around his wrists. "What's going on?" Marcus asked, his voice calm but edged with disbelief. "You're under arrest," the officer said flatly. "We'll explain at the station." Neighbors peeked from behind curtains and over fences as Marcus, a man they respected deeply, was shoved into the back of the police car. He sat there, trying to make sense of what was happening. He hadn't broken any laws. His record was spotless. So why were they treating him like a dangerous criminal? At the station, the questions began. But they weren't really questions. They were accusations. The officers claimed he was linked to an armed robbery earlier that morning. They insisted a witness had positively identified him. Marcus calmly explained where he had been and even offered to show receipts from the coffee shop he'd just left. But they didn't want to listen. "Save it for your lawyer," one officer sneered. Minutes felt like hours. Marcus thought about his family, about the veterans who looked up to him, and about how quickly a person's reputation could be destroyed by a single mistake. But then something unexpected happened. The station doors slammed open with a force that made everyone turn. In stormed a team of agents wearing jackets emblazoned with bold yellow letters, FBI. Their leader, a tall, commanding woman, strode straight to the desk sergeant. "Where's Marcus Brown?" she demanded. The officers glanced at each other, clearly caught off guard. One pointed toward the holding cell. The FBI agent unlocked it without hesitation. "You've got the wrong man," she said firmly, her voice echoing through the room. "The actual suspect is already in our custody, and he looks nothing like this man." Silence fell over the station. The arresting officers shifted uncomfortably, their faces flushed. One of them muttered an apology, but it sounded hollow. Marcus stood up slowly, rubbing his wrists where the cuffs had bitten into his skin. "Next time," he said evenly, "check your facts before you ruin someone's life." The FBI escorted him out, shielding him from the stares of the same officers who had been so sure of his guilt. Outside, the fresh air hit him like a wave of freedom. The agent explained they had been tracking the real suspect for days, a man involved in multiple violent crimes who had been arrested just 15 minutes earlier across town. Marcus was free, but the damage was done. Neighbors had seen him taken away in handcuffs. Rumors would spread. And yet, as he walked away from that station, he knew one thing: the truth had prevailed, and his honor was still intact. That day became a reminder, not just for Marcus, but for everyone who heard his story, that justice isn't just about catching the guilty, it's about protecting the innocent. And sometimes it takes 30 minutes and a team of determined agents to set the record straight. In the end, the real criminal was caught, and Marcus walked free, but the damage to his dignity could never be undone. His story is a stark reminder that justice isn't just about finding the guilty, it's about protecting the innocent. Because sometimes the difference between ruin and redemption can be just 30 minutes, and the courage of those willing to fight for the truth.